in your book, there's maintenance intervals. It's very important. Your filter changes, oil changes. Just one real quick. One of the most important ones is when you have a new pump. Is your first oil filter change at 100 hours. You want to change your accumulator filter and your boom filter. The boom filter is usually near your hand controls, and then the suction filter, depending on the size of pump, it's in different locations, but it's usually near the bottom of the hydraulic tank, and it's the big red, or it might be painted, a cover that you can pull it off.
What you can do is, the main pump is your main pump. If it's a 16 cell, you will have one single pump. If it's a 20 cell, you will have piggyback, one big pump after the second one. The next one, a mid-sized pump, is your accumulator, and it will have 1 inch and a half, 1 inch and a quarter hose that will go down to the tank. Follow the hose, you will find the suction filter inside. That suction filter has like a cross notch in the center. It's a plastic one. Release the air from your tank, put the bar, break it loose, unscrew it. There is a flap behind that one. When you pull that filter and it came out, it's going to close it. You're going to lose maybe a quart of oil. What's the measurement in American? I don't know. A couple liters of oil,
yep.
Sorry. Half a gallon? Half a gallon of oil. So put the bucket under, you're going to lose some oil. Everything else is going to close. Pull your filter, unscrew it, connect the new one, screw it by hand, push it in, you're done. Sorry.
All right, that's okay, that's okay. And you can look at, we have a chart in the book, and all the information is in there, easily accessed. Greasing intervals on your, the rack style, you'll have grease fittings in the front here. You want to grease those once a day. And then
in the back,
you have,
what we were talking about is once a full day of pumping, 24 hours of pumping. So we are going to go through the hour meter in the machine. The one in the electrical panel, you have the thermometer in one side and you have the hour meter in the other. Calculate 24 hours of actual pumping. If you're in forward or in reverse, that hour meter is going to be checking the hours. So go by that. 24 hours of pumping, 5 strokes of grease in all of the manual ones. In the opposite side, in the driver's side of the hopper, is going to be a sticker, a decal, with the little grease, 5x 24 hours. 24 hours of actual pumping, grease that one manually. All this side, and this side of the hopper, in the automatic distribution block, that will be automatic. Every half an hour in the new pumps, or every half an hour in a couple years ago pumps, we can modify it if you needed to do it more often. The automatic greaser is going to be pumping grease and lubricating everything. But in the other side, we need less grease. We don't connect that to the automatic greaser because we don't need to put that much grease in there. I have said already, grease is cheap. It's cheaper than rebuild everything else, but you don't need that much grease in there. You're gonna make a mess out of your pump. So once every 24 hours of pumping, we have the stickers. Usually, you can see it in this area over here where you can see the lines going into the boom, or it will be in the opposite side of the hopper. Like over here, we have stickers on this side. In the opposite side, we will have some other stickers which show you where to grease 5 times every 24 hours, every single one of the grease filters. That is basically what we're doing. Our systems, our horse head has nylon and fiber bushings. There's one in the top, one in the bottom. We have different points to grease, and the grease will go from the center. You can see the little holes going from this side, one from the top, in the front, and in the back. The bottom one, and remember, your horse head is doing this all the time. It's under a lot of pressure. We need to keep it grease. Put grease, and that one is cheaper than have to lift the boom and change the horse head.
You can't over-grease these things, right?
no.
Grease is cheap, and the worst thing you are going to have to do is clean it.
Yep.
If you don't put enough grease, I have seen those horse heads when you put pressure lifting 1.5 inches and move enough to start wearing the metal because the bushing has been completely gone. Grease is cheap. So in that theme always, just remember, 24 hours of pumping. So you go out 10, 12 hours a day. Out of those 10, 12 hours, you're gonna be pumping what? 4 or 5 hours. Second day, 10 hours. By the third day, it's 15 hours. By the fourth day, you have 20 hours. That says once a week, you have pumped for 24 hours. Grease your boom. Grease the back of your puppet. Everything that says 24 hours is mean 24 hours of pumping. Know that every 24 hours you have to go through it. 24 hours of actual pumping. And your hour meter is always working when you are pumping, forward or reverse. Stop when you are not pumping. And that is the reference you need. The amount of pumping hours we have. Changing your filters, changing the boom filter, changing the return filter, changing the suction filter is a relationship of hours. Main filter, the one in the tank over there, 500 hours. Boom filter, suction filter, every 250 hours. And like Darin was saying, one of the most important break-in period, when all the metal is settling and moving all the parts that hasn't been finally machined and everything, 100 hours of pumping, change your boom filter, change your suction filter. With every new pump, you are going to have include a boom filter and a suction filter. 100 hours is critical. I have seen machines fail because that hasn't been done. I have taken apart the filters, I have cut the filters, and you can read the story. And all the black material, all the silver material, and all the brass color material that are in that filter because they didn't do the 100 hours. The problem is when I have to analyze why something has failed in a catastrophic way. So please, 100 hours, break-in period, boom filter, suction filter. If you have this system, you don't have to worry about it. If you have the reduction gear and the Rotec, change the oil in the reduction gear at the first 100 hours. And the PTO. The PTO is critical because everything is breaking in. Everything is releasing metal, so please, 100 hours is your break-in period, oil for the PTO, oil for the reduction gear, grease your system, change your filters.
Do they filter these things while they're cycling them up at the factory at all, or no?
Before they came over here, the last thing we do in the quality control area is we filter for 12 hours.
Before they came?
Before we deliver the pump, it has been filtered for 12 hours at least. So usually we leave it overnight. Next day we are there, we will be ready to disconnect.
So we really don't need to change it out 100 hours?
Yeah, who needs to change the filter? It's cheaper to change the parts. Sorry, but
That's fine. We get into the cutting ring adjustment. You guys all might want to get up and
let's move over here, please.
so we can see.
Hey guys, we have to move now. We did the lunch, now we have to